So what do professors know about the real world? I can sit here and try to convince you that the vast majority of the research that I do is about the real world. The whole reciprocity project that I'm building right now is about the real world, and I actually get penalized for interacting with the real world. Um, I can go and tell you that I teach real world people, but none of that stuff is ever going to convince you in terms of what do professors actually know about the real world. To be honest, not much. We don't know that much about the real world, and there's good reason for that. The real world is often filled with complexity. It's filled with all sorts of problems and things that are difficult to understand. And if you ask any single person in this world about how does something work, we're only going to know a very tiny fraction of how that stuff works. And it doesn't matter whether you're in the real world or not in the real world, whatever that actually means. But what we can do is stop and think about what this actually means and what is going on. And that's our job, is to stop and think about what is going on. It's not our job to interact with the real world, as you say. And so, yeah, maybe we don't know that much about what the real world actually means and what is going on in the real world. Is that problematic? I don't agree. I don't believe that that is actually problematic. I think that's actually a good thing, because that means we're actually doing our job. That means that we are stopping and thinking about what's going on in the real world. If we sat and we actually did stuff in the real world, whatever that actually means, and I don't know what that actually means, to be honest. Does that mean that I am not living at this moment? Does that mean that universities, these large, complex organizations with 50, 60, 70,000 people that are interacting with a university, and often hundreds of thousands of people that interact with universities, does that not exist? Is that what it actually means? I think we need to stop and think about what we are doing and what we're trained to do. And if it means that we need to, I don't know, to be honest, what it means that we should be doing, whatever that real world actually is. I think we need to just recognize that the world is complicated. And if that's one thing that you can learn from this video, that's a good lesson. If you stop and think about, hey, why am I actually dismissing this? Why do I feel afraid? What is driving those emotions of me feeling like that? What is going on there? And if you can think about that a little bit more, what is driving those emotions of me dismissing what professors do or dismissing what anybody does? If I go about and dismiss that, man, that person that works at McDonald's, they're below me, that is removing a whole part of this world. And I think somehow that I'm better than them. And that is not a good thing. That doesn't drive any sort of positive behavior in this world. Because you know what? All of us at one point would have loved to have worked at McDonald's. I remember back when I was 12 years old and applied to McDonald's and never got in because I wasn't good enough to work at McDonald's at the time. You know what? A lot of us feel like this. So if you think that you're somehow better, or you think that there is something that is going on that you're afraid of, I want you just to stop and think and go and meet some of those folks and see what goes on. You'll probably find out that we're probably pretty real world, whatever that means. All right. So hopefully you like this video. Just remember that The real world is a lot more complicated than you think it is. And it's good to have people that stop and think about the real world. That means that we're kind of figuring things out a little. I wouldn't say that I know anything in any sort of substance about this world, but I know a little. And that's okay. That means that we're slowly figuring things out. And you know what? That also means that there's lots of room for you at this moment to figure these things out, to study it a little bit. And it also means that there's unbelievable opportunity for people to study this stuff. Even today, we only know a fraction of what we can possibly know. And I could forecast, I have great certainty that in 500 years from now, we'll be saying the exact same thing, that we just don't know anything, and that's okay. And we have lots and lots of room to study new things. All right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.